it happens in our society, yeah. No matter how toxic the man is, no matter how toxic the woman is, the victim in this case, they still don't leave, or even if they leave, they still come back. Why don't they leave? I mean, this person is hitting you, this person says stuffs to you, but still they don't leave.
Honestly, I think the guys are actually good in bed. Some of them.
This person really likes me. He really loves me, and then I think he's going to change with time.
Have you ever met someone that drains your peace and call it love? Why do we ignore red flags and call it heartbreak? Hello, welcome to Spill It Podcast, where we say it as it is. I am Lillian Injoma, here in the studio with Rhapsody and Risa. Let's talk about toxic relationships. Toxic relationship isn't new. It's a pattern that has followed us from generations to generations, and it is still here. We have seen men and women online and offline be so toxic to each other to the extent that it gets physical. What is going on? Rhapsody, please, what's your view on toxic relationships?
Well, for me, thank you for that question. Well, for me, before I give you my view on toxic relationship, first we should know what toxic relationship is. And then I also like you to know that this relationship are relationship that do not only exist between in romantic relationships, they exist even between friends, in families, and so on and so forth. So now back to your question. Toxic relationships, these are the kind of relationships that drains you mentally, that drains you psychologically, that drains you physically, and makes you feel insecure about yourself. So whether it is romantic, whether it is philia between friends, in whatsoever form it can be, so long as it drains you emotionally and makes you insecure about yourself, it is toxic.
So it basically makes you feel less of yourself as a person.
Yes, overall, generally, it makes you feel less of yourself.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
okay. So what's your view? What's your general view about the whole thing?
Toxic relationship for me, it's is actually it starts from the person. At first, the person has a way of making you feel you don't necessarily know what you want. First, it makes you feel you don't know what you want, what you deserve, and it has a way of making the other partner now has a way of making you feel dependent on him. So if it is psychological first, because it makes you feel you are less of yourself from the first instance, then you depend on him, and from there it progressive to other forms of toxicity.
Risa?
Yeah, actually, I agree with what Rhapsody said. You know, when a relationship is said to be toxic, it simply is when you're with someone, and that person constantly makes you feel like you are not good enough. No matter what you do, they always criticize, they compare you to others, and in fact, they make you feel less of yourself. You understand? And in most cases, it brings down the self esteem of ladies or the other way around.
But wait, why is she talking about ladies?
No,
Because
I'm not really.
now toxic relationship is not just about ladies alone.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier on, there are cases whereby the guys molest the ladies, and there are cases whereby the ladies also molest the guys. Just that of the guys is underreported. You know, a guy will hardly come out and tell you that his girlfriend beats him. Or
That's how it should is. Women can be toxic too.
of course, I feel they are more toxic than the men itself. Just that it is reported the same way that guys will hardly come out and tell you that they are raped. It's the same way.
Sounds funny.
Yes, the society has a way of stigmatizing you. They have a way of making you look like a weakling. Meanwhile, some of these ladies are strong. They are giants. They can actually box you. You know.
So you mean to say that you are there looking at a woman beating you and you're not doing anything about
Sometimes, when people beat, it's not like sometimes they may not necessarily be physically stronger than you, while in other cases, some are actually physically stronger than you. It's normal, it's nature. Some of these ladies that are descendants of Goliath, and they may be guilty.
Okay, I also think in some cases, yeah, they pity the girl. So even if she hits him, even if he can hit her back, he chooses not to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, there are some men that don't even have that what will I even call it?
Orientation?
Yeah, they'll beat you. black and blue and red.
Okay. So before we dive in, you mentioned something about just like we're talking about it now, of women also being toxic. Before we dive into that, there is, it happens in our society, yeah, where even no matter how toxic the man is, no matter how toxic the woman is, the other person now, or the victim in this case, they still don't leave, or even if they leave, they still come back. Why don't they leave? I mean, this person is hitting you, this person says stuffs to you, but still they don't leave.
Honestly, I think Carissa should start with this because
Harrison,
let's start with her.
please, let's hear from you. Most of these victims, they feel like if they should leave this person, they will be lonely, and they don't have this self awareness. They don't know that they actually deserve more.
Oh,
Yes, there are people that feel if they break up with this person,
they will not
they
get
will
another
not get
person.
another person. So they endure the hurts, the hurtful stuff, the abuses, insult, and all this torture just because they want to be with someone. They feel they cannot be loved being alone without a man.
Mm.
And some of them are there because um they are totally dependent on the person.
Okay.
So they pour all their burdens on the person, both financially, emotionally, spiritually, otherwise, they make this person become their father, their mother, their
like a god.
demigod.
Hmm.
You understand?
Okay.
You know,
So
I think in addition to what she said, I have like a list of them, so many of them. But let me start with the first one, talking about dependency. Or instead, let me start it from the family. It starts from the family. I've always believed that we all know that the family is the basic unit of the society. So a dysfunctional family will give birth to dysfunctional children in most cases. We have some few exceptions, and these dysfunctional children will give birth to a dysfunctional society and dysfunctional nation and a dysfunctional world. Now, when you have a lady, let's use the lady for an example, that has not been shown love at home, she doesn't even know what love is, and then probably her father, that male figure, is absent in her upbringing in her life, so she doesn't even know what a manly love should be like. She doesn't know what she deserves. She doesn't know what she should look for in a man because there's no one who has played the role of the man in her life. So once she gets a boyfriend or a guy who shows her little love, little attention, not really love, but say little attention, buy her little gifts, she feels this is what love is all about. And he provides everything for her. And the day she messes up and he hits her, she as well
is correcting her.
is correcting her, yes, because she has not known what that love is.
Like,
It feels like she feels that he's correcting her, and then tomorrow she comes back to him. This is one side of the coin. So that is the more reason why we should give attention to our female children. And secondly, some of them, like you said, dependency. They're the ones who provides everything for them, provides clothes. They don't have any source of livelihood, so their boyfriends is now the source of livelihood. So even if he beats her, if she leaves him, where will she go to?
where will she get
Where will
stuff
she
from?
get stuff? So she has to come back. And some of them, I think, needless to say, but some of them, I think, the guys are actually good in bed. Some of them, so the guys give them sexual satisfaction that they have to just come back because someone said something. When you see someone, you feel a lady is far beyond the level of the guy, and she keeps coming back despite there's something she gets. If not money, probably good sex or other things like that. That's another aspect of it. And overall, some people don't even know their worth. They don't know even they don't know who they are. So they feel they drive their joy, they drive their sense of purpose being in a relationship. Meanwhile, you are supposed to have a sense of purpose. You're supposed to know who you are. You're supposed to have fulfillment in yourself alone. So the end before another, yes, so that another person who comes just adds to it. And then relationship is not supposed to take you out of boredom. Your life is supposed to be actively engaged doing things before any other person
Relationship.
comes.
So you mentioned, I think you're only talking about the girl child, and you earlier mentioned as men also are in toxic relationships. So tell us the side of the men too. Why do you think men that are in toxic relationships find it hard to leave?
Well, it's almost the same thing like that of the ladies, but there are differences because the way a man thinks is a bit different from the way a woman thinks. In most cases, he benefits extremely from the lady. Probably she's from a rich home. She gives him money. And you know, when we talk,
Some men can be gold diggers too.
yes, now this new generation men, in fact, it has been even in time past.
You know, there are some sorry to say, there are some ladies that are doing so well. They are chalugos. So yeah, the only thing they want is a man that will love them. Irrespective of,
Just give them love. Give them that you also want love. They are not lacking anything. You just love.
No, in the same vein, there are some ladies that have everything. They just want the presence of a man in their life,
Yes.
not because they love the man, but because of the way the society look,
Yeah.
they see them. So the man comes into their life. They do everything. He does every. The lady does everything for him. For her, it's just for him to maybe sleep with her, and that's all. And so she talks to him anyhow. You know, when you talk about toxicity, it must not necessarily be physical also because that's the item is she speaks to him anyhow, but he doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to lose benefit. That's one aspect. Another aspect is the society we live in. I feel lots of attention have not been given to the male child, so he's scared of being called a weakling. Imagine I come and tell you that the lady I'm dating, just slapped me, just beat me. You can see that you are laughing me. You're already laughing. So how will I come and tell my mother that my wife is beating me?
no, it doesn't.
You know,
Okay to the age.
so people will just have to tolerate it. That's another aspect. And sometimes they are trying to be a gentleman. But the most powerful thing is we give ourselves false hope, thinking that the people will change.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's another point. And especially for the ladies,
Yeah.
they will say, "I will change him.
We can change him with time.
You are not God, though. Nobody will.
Change, he will change.
It's only the individual and maybe God that can
Yes.
change the person.
And the devil.
Because if somebody did not change before he met you, what
What?
makes you think that you will change the person?
Yeah.
You get. So I think it goes both ways with the men and the women, especially for those that are in love, that are genuinely in love. Though some is foolishness, but
But the thing is, some of us don't even know what love is. That's the problem. We don't even know our definition of love is not correct. So when they tell you endure and you have issues and challenges in love, which is true, you have fights in love, but it does not mean that you should go physical. In fact, if a lady can slap you in a relationship,
Red flag.
it's already a red flag. You guys are already wearing reds. We are already red flags. It's already red flag. So you should just leave because if at that point that she's supposed to hold you with two hands, she's already exhibiting signs, tendencies of
well,
John Cena tendencies in relationships. So imagine when you settle with her. And sometimes the guys don't leave the relationship because they are married and they don't want to scatter their homes.
it goes both ways for that. But I think in the case of marriage, is the women that endure more because of, like you said, the society.
Yeah.
Here in the north, they will just say "Kia akuri, chikara akuri, chikara akuri,"
There's
and then she keeps enduring abuse, physical, verbal, financially, and emotionally.
Okay.
Yes, because they said she should yeah akuri, or the mentality that maybe she would change.
Yes. But sometimes when people say ladies are the most abused, that's true. But sometimes it's not always like that.
Of course.
That of the ladies is the one that is reported the most. People will always go with what is reported the most. The abuse against ladies, against women is reported the most. Do you know that even in this town, there are women that beat their husband.
Oops.
They beat them, they assault them. Because you don't get to hear the husband come and tell you that he has been beaten. But the wife can easily tell you that he has the thing, and then no, but the man cannot do
So
that.
even aside the beating, I think women also do more verbal abuse,
Yes.
like insulting the man, talking back, and stuff like that. So I think women do more verbal.
Sexual, as you said. No, sorry.
Yes, as emotional.
Yeah.
The husband
Of their conjugal rights.
Well, for me, I feel like one of the things that make them stay in both scenarios, both the men and the women, after being abused, they still remain in that relationship, is because an abusive person will later come back and apologize to you, shower you
Yeah.
all manner of gifts and all that. And then to you, you might feel, this person really likes me, he really loves me, and then I think he's going to change with time. They will never say it's another chance.
The work of the devil.
Of
It's the work of the devil. I did not know.
You know, when the devil doesn't know what will happen. Yeah, it's true. You see, all these things, people don't really take these things into cognizance because they are actually what leads to a lot of things we are seeing now. Like people even dying in marriages because of domestic violence and the rest. It's because they don't tackle it right from the initial stage.
That's manipulation. You know, some months ago, I wrote about 3 articles. I saw a video of a guy here in this town that beats his girlfriend, and then she snapped the video. She was wounded,
Also, no.
and then we all were defending. I didn't know the lady was, but I was defending. I was saying things. I wrote 3 articles within the space of, because of this thing. I just came online the next day. I saw the lady was slapping. They was doing video with the guy again. I said, "Wow!" With our patch face. I was like, "Really?" So we are not the bad eggs. Like,
They'll use you to settle their relationship issues.
so these things, I think people don't love themselves enough. When you love yourself,
Keep wondering if they're orphans.
yeah,
Of sometimes emotional offer. It's said about the background. You earlier mention of the dysfunctional mothers. Yes, some of them, they don't really know what love feels like. So they tolerate all of these abuses and then see it as love. Or big it is not love. You have to go back and study what love is.
A toxic family gives birth to toxic children. And in turn, those kids, if they don't become victims, they become the abusers.
yes.
So you know, talking about people not feeling love, I think some people don't even know what red flags looks like, or they don't know the signs of a toxic person. You get. So Irisa, please help us. What do you think should be the red flags a lady or a guy should look out for before going into a relationship with anybody? Uh,
Okay. Yes. So one of the things, or let's say, there are numerous, there are much, but there are,
let's tell us the one that
out
comes
of
to your head. So,
a few. So firstly, if someone always controls you, they want to dictate what you wear, who you hang out with, where you go to, who is even who you receive, who calls you most times. Yes. And then they tend to be insecure around you, and you feel it's love. Because there are some people that, if they're in a relationship with a man, I'm saying this in the female cycle because I'm your female person, is my gender, yes, and I relate more in that. So they feel like, if so this person, I just made a call with a man, and this person didn't even ask who is it, and he knows that it's a man that called me. So does it mean this person doesn't really love me to the point that he cannot even feel jealous again? You understand? Even God, they say, God is a jealous God. Talk more of human beings.
so you're saying,
So they feel like
some women actually want their men
to
show sign of jealousy.
jealousy. They'll feel loved and wanted.
That's actually a toxic
But
behavior.
that's alone, it's toxicity.
But now adding to what Kaisa just said, remember that let's not also there's a thin line between some of the things she mentioned and accountability. When you're in a relationship with someone, you need to be accountable to the person. It is not wrong once in a while if the person asks you who you made calls with, so long as it is not concurrently or every time. Okay, I'm with the person I'm dating. Let's say I took her out and on a date, and then she begins to make long calls, and a particular number keeps calling at odd hours, and so it is okay if I ask, and people should be able to honor to their actions and inactions, and not really, yeah, not really asking every part of your life, but at that point you should, I saw you and so person called. So that is not necessarily toxicity.
The accountability should go both ways.
Yes.
So if your girl is, or your wife or your woman is receiving long calls, if you are able to ask, I believe when you do the same, she should also be able to question you. And if she's
Not
going
necessarily
out,
question. The word question sounds not necessarily question. In fact, you on your own, you should be able to say it without necessarily being asked. For example,
okay,
one of the ways to build trust is by keeping the person you are in a relationship abreast with what you're doing. Hello, babe, I'm going to this place. I'm going to stadium.
okay, yeah.
And so
You inform them
you inform them
where you're
so
going to and who you're going out with. But in the case of, you earlier mentioned what to wear.
Yeah.
That why should, I don't know, I may be wrong, but as long as I'm not looking half naked, I'm not going out naked. I don't know why a man should be able to tell me what I want to wear or what I should wear.
Now remember, this toxic relationship we're talking about is not just single. It's not just narrowed to relationship, marriage relationship, family, it's friendship. Yeah, it can come in several ways. But a person, someone that wants his own idea or opinion to always count,
Oh yeah.
not really respecting your own opinion. They always want to dictate. They always want to talk and not to be the ones listening. You understand? And they don't like taking responsibility for their actions. They don't want to accept the blame. So even if you are right, even if you are right, you end up apologizing.
Yeah. And I think one of this, what's the signs, one of the red flags is gaslighting.
yes.
Okay, like you did something to me and I'm telling you that you did something and I did not like it, and you're making me look like I have mental problem. Or what I'm saying, I don't know if it's like, I don't know what I'm saying, or what I'm saying is a lie. That's gaslighting.
Yes.
You're gaslighting me, and you
It's
did it.
obvious. It's obvious that you did
This, but you're
You're
making me
saying
look
that
like
no.
I'm hallucinating.
Yes. And I think it's not necessarily about asking. You're talking about clothes. Suggesting the clothes you wear is not necessarily bad, but the main thing is the domineering. When you want to domineer
Yes.
as a person,
It's not that some of these things are bad, though,
You want
but it's
to-
the manner.
yes,
Good.
you want to dictate what the person's wear. Is okay. You give your suggestion, but you also respect the person's idea. You want to dictate what the person's wear, where the person goes to, who the person talks to, whatsoever. You just want to dictate. So those are also traits of look out for. And then the person is overly jealous.
Hmm.
Overly jealous.
Some might think is love, though.
Jealousy can be part in love. There's jealous, of course. When you love someone, in fact, even in the animal kingdom, whenever there's war, there's crisis, the major cause of it is they fight over their territory. It's a normal thing to be jealous, but when it's
Yeah.
overly jealous,
It becomes toxic.
yes. At least when you love something, you want to protect it from other.
But don't lose it much, though. Don't push it. I remember that you choke the person with love.
Yeah. And this thing,
Your love choke someone.
People need their space.
Yeah.
and people like this end up separating you from your loved ones, from your life, because you are in a relationship with this person. They want to just keep you in the house.
That reminds me of isolation.
Yeah.
That's also like a toxic and red flag.
Isolation.
You isolate somebody from his or her family, from friends. Some even go as far as telling their spouse. I think mostly it happens to women, not to go on social media.
Yes. And
Don't go to these events. Don't come on social media and stuff. So you wonder why. Like, why? Why?
Some of these things.
You love somebody doesn't mean you should separate them from their life.
Yes.
Had a life before you on. Why you live your own life, but you don't want them to live their own.
This talking related. Yeah, this relationship are in levels also, because now some of these things can come to play in marriage. Like,
yes.
if you are married, of course, there are certain events you will no longer go to. That's not toxicity.
Well,
For example, you are married to a corporate man like me. When you used to go to clubs, for example, of course, I will not marry you if you are going to club. But let's say you used to go to club. When you marry, of course, those girls out night that let's go in club. For me, it's not permissible again. Not, and I'm not toxic. So there are certain things you will not go to. You won't go to maybe all this clubbing. You won't wear bomb shorts to go to clubs and other things. So I'm not being toxic. I am trying to protect my interests. Since we are now married,
If we talk about you not being toxic, I feel we all have been toxic at some point in our lives,
yes, swas.
whether we like it or not.
At sometimes we are even toxic without you knowing.
Yes, exactly. You might be doing it unconsciously and you don't even know.
And you see, most times, ladies, because it happens to in fact, ladies are the ones amplifying the whole toxicity stuff of a thing. So now a lady can be with a man and then she breaks up with this person, and then she now, because of one character, she now goes to another person. She enters into a new relationship, and then she's still complaining of that same thing. And then, you know, the partners, I don't know if, okay, I wanted to say they are the ones complaining of the same thing about her, and then she reporting it. Because of this, you don't want to take correction, she will now end the relationship, jumps into another one, and then still see that same thing continue.
And that's the place of personal reflection. You should reflect in yourself. You should reflect in
And take accountability for your actions. And I think that's one issue that we women, even in female relationships,
yes.
when somebody has a fallout with her friend, the other person always says, "Oh, it's the other person that did this, it's the other person that did this." Okay, why can't you just look at yourself? Yeah,
What did I do wrong?
like where did I go wrong?
Where did I contribute?
I had an experience like that. Like you wronged me, but I'm the bad person.
You see, that's
You wronged me, and instead of just saying sorry so that we just move on with the relationship, you're saying I'm the one that wronged you and I should be the one apologizing when I am not even at fault.
you see.
So these are the things that's not just romantic relationships, even in friendships, especially female friendships, because like I said, we don't like taking accountability for our actions. We like what do they call it? Blame shifting.
Yes, yes.
So both in relationships and in friendships, I think some women are just good at shifting blames.
No, I think
They
the
are good at shifting blames.
the society has contributed to, the society has a way of making it feel if you want peace in your relationship, apologize to the woman. So whether or not she's at fault, you apologize. And then I'm apologizing to you always because I don't want to destroy my relationship. And another person guy is apologizing to his lady always, and now you guys become friends. And none of you is willing to apologize to any of you because you are used to your men apologizing to you, and then you need someone else like you that doesn't want to apologize. So these are some of these things you should look out for.
And yes, this apology thing, if your partner, whether man or woman, cannot apologize for even little things, run abeg. If somebody is also love bombing you, the people that will meet you today and say I love you, I want to marry you. To me, I think that's also that's a sign of a toxic person, because you don't even choose me. Are you already in love with me? Be kind of Indian movies, that one. That's my first sight.
I don't think that's toxicity. I just
Yes, no, but
it's a red flag, but it's not toxicity.
because I've met men that we just met and you're already love bombing me. Every day you call me,
And they want to jump on it.
They want to jump on it. And at the end of the day, you find out that they had a secret motive. So you see, some people that don't know these things now will feel that this person loves me and stuff like that. You get, not knowing that this person has a secret motive. And most times these men that love bomb you, if you don't give them face or you don't fall in for them, in the next 1 or 2 weeks you see their wedding pictures online.
Maybe they wanted to marry you actually.
No. Why can't you marry me when your wedding date is already out? Sorry. So from my own personal experience, most guys that have love bombed me before in the past, when I don't give in, the next thing you see is their wedding pictures.
Maybe they wanted to marry you, but
You suddenly saw me and you have decided to cancel your wedding that you have already prepared for.
I wanted to go out with a lady, and then she was like, no, let's go out next weekend. He was like, no, my wedding is next weekend. We can postpone this.
that's serious.
Unnecessary.
And that's one fact you should also know about this red flags we were talking about. You see, aside from the person being domineering, the person being overly jealous or overly protective, the person tries to rush things. They put you under unnecessary pressure. And once you realize with pressure is that once you're under pressure, That's how even Ponzi scheme work. Yeah, they put you under pressure. Register between now and 12. If not, you close. So at that point, it doesn't give you that the time to process information, and then before you realize you are just in it.
Yeah, in for it.
And then you're just, and that's it.
All right, guys, we have to take a pause here. But toxic relationship is complicated, is misunderstood, and is always painful. But the conversation doesn't end here. Follow us on all our social media platforms so that you'll be able to come back for the second part where we talk about healing process, setting healthy boundaries, and managing toxic relationships as a whole. And if anything in today's episode felt familiar to you, just know that you are not alone and healing is possible. Thank you and see you soon.